Accident.
Oh, you can
Reaching
say,
into my,
oh.
yeah, reaching into my minivan to pull out a box of stuff and I didn't duck enough. Right off the top.
Wow.
Kind of
Well,
flat.
ask you how you did it, but done it in my head before.
Yeah,
What was
I
that?
hit my head.
Yeah,
Corner.
yeah, I've done that, yeah. I swear, when I wear glasses, anything above here, I just like, I feel like my brain doesn't even know it exists. It's above eye level. Hey, Len.
Hello.
Yeah, we might need to turn on the air conditioning.
Oh, no.
At least the fan.
I went for a walk today. Oh, yeah.
Don't let me forget I got those things for you in the car.
Do what?
Don't let me forget I have those bags for you in the car.
Oh. Oh, sad. Bring you you that forgot it.
I wonder if my purse is something thank you card last year.
This is not what you was inspired to you. Oh, don't do that.
That's,
I don't think. Don't send the folks back.
you gotta yell at my wife then.
Don't try it, Len, don't try it.
He said, I'm not touching that one.
So we're Tibbetts is having a auction in a couple of weeks this week, collect donations of items to sell. Someone turned in
Both of them. Both of the meetings.
1992 vintage Coca-Cola Detroit line.
No, that's for council.
Yeah, yeah, they're like mint condition.
I didn't know which should work
Beautiful.
because it was just for the people who had districts.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, I did 7 last year, so I mean.
Huh?
I did 7 last year.
You need 7.
She did. He
Yeah, yeah, I did 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
3, 4,
6
5, 6, 7.
and 7. Hey, whatever, we'll get it done. It's all good.
Okay.
I donated my precinct's meal to some other precinct because I felt like there's greater need in other precincts than in my place.
We'll look for another precinct.
So, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a
Find 7 people in the city of Albion that could.
Need some food.
Yeah.
What?
Election.
Is Thanksgiving the week before or the week after? Oh, it's that week, it's the last. That's fine.
And then this.
Means I gotta send John to a meeting.
Joe, give me your back.
Peanut butter.
Here you go. Take it away. There you go.
Too late.
She found the book.
It's read, you ain't gotta be so bossy. Stuff. It's read.
Point that at the camera.
Yeah, so
We wanna see it.
Colin,
So.
You gotta share with all of us, man.
Oh,
put
yeah.
it at the camera.
Oh, yeah. Point it at the camera, we can see it.
He's got jaws like.
Oh.
All right, so it is 6:30.
Can't see it like that.
Oh, I'll show you.
Hey, how you doing?
We'll go ahead and call our executive session to order. We can stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Vintage.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Williams, Reed,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Waller,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
French,
Here.
and Mayor Snyder.
Here. So our study session is to go over the items that will need action this evening. The first is to approve resolution 2024-38. I think we can probably also include discussion on 2024-39 with this. Attorney Harkness, do you have info on this for us?
So it's kind of like, I mean, I can give you the mile high view. If council recalls earlier this year, you approved an industrial development district and an industrial rehabilitation district that was basically encapsulated the Colson Group property in the industrial park. What you have before you now is the actual application for the exemption certificate that would apply to the real property, both to rehabilitate the existing structure and property that's there and to construct new stuff. So I believe they're both for 12 years is my recollection.
I think that's as long as we allow.
You allow one? So we will have a public hearing prior to approving both of these. Do we have questions for Attorney Harkness on either one of these items? Right, seeing none, we'll move on. Next, we're going to ask to approve awarding contract for the train depot renovations.
So this has been handled by Whiteman. They put out, the bids were put out, the lowest bidder came in at $186,527. For the renovations to the exterior of the train station, there's quite a bit of work that needs repair, and I'm not sure exactly what all the other projects are that are gonna be done with this, but the city received a $300,000 award from Dr. Graham, I believe. And so that money through the community foundation will be what is used to do these repairs.
Any questions on this item before we approve later today?
Also, we are working with Amtrak on doing some renovations to the facility as well. And I don't know when that's gonna occur, but there'll be more money going in the facility besides just this.
Right, next, we're going to be asked to approve the boards and commissions appointments. Nancy Doyle for the Arts Commission, Richard Lewin for reappointment to the Board of Review, and Tom Pitt for the reappointment for the Planning Commission. In your package, you have their applications. Any questions or comments on those?
Just on the planning commission, are they meeting? Us, our city planner is not with us. Are they still meeting and carrying on?
Yep.
Yeah, for that role too.
Oh, that's it.
I learned more about planning than I ever thought I'd ever know.
Yes.
Oh,
And you have a plan?
Yeah. And a lot that I don't know, I found out from their attorney, so.
okay.
But they haven't been having me.
There we have
When?
We've had,
third Tuesday of the month.
I haven't. I usually get a notice on my email. But that's coming,
You're on the board.
yeah.
Question about Tom Pitt reappointment.
Mhm.
I see it says reappointment. Is his like a 1 year or something? Cause it says term, oh no, the term to expire is the extension. Is that what it is? Not that it's expiring anytime soon, but the reappointment expires in 2027.
So if we approve his applications,
And
then
it
it
expires.
expires in 2027.
Gotcha.
That is something though I would take up at that meeting. Because there's so many times they don't have leave. Until usually there's an email that comes through when they do have one. I have not been getting those.
Well, that goes through the software.
Huh?
That goes through our software, the same software that we get for our city council meetings.
Cause I remember, I've asked Jill, send me one. When, because a lot of times I came down here and there have not been, they canceled, so.
And she usually sends
That's
out,
okay, I'll take it up with them next meeting though.
all right, the next, we are going to move forward with approving the interim city manager. On your desktop, there is a list from MML. If we decide to contract with them to have an interim brought in. The list includes, from my understanding, retired city managers that now work on a contract basis. So we could definitely look at, I don't know if we can specifically request individual office, or this is just a list of potential placements. Colin, do you have ideas on that?
So I had a brief conversation with, there's a lady at MML, and technically it's not MML, it's the Michigan Municipal Executives that does the interim manager list. She didn't have a whole lot of information. She said to basically go direct with the Michigan Municipal Executives, and then when I saw it, that it was already in the packet. I think you can request someone specific if you want someone specific and they're available. Or alternatively, you can just say, I think send us somebody. I do know that, I believe the city of Charlotte started with somebody, they didn't work out and they were able to request another person. So that's what leads me to believe that you can request someone if there's someone that you'd rather work with.
So on this list, we have worked with Greg Buchow. He has led our goal planning sessions. So you should be familiar at least with that name. But it's a possibility that we should request him. I think he would be a good fit for the interim position. Councilman Williams?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions along the lines of, this same scenario. Those lines being currently, where are we in terms of, budget preparation? I guess that'd be a question for,
Yeah, I know, David's working on the budget currently. So we should be having budget meetings in November, to get us to where we're gonna go. So, and part of that, normally an election year, we wait till we're closer to the election to have those discussions so that those elected officials can be involved in the budget because they have to make that decision at the first meeting in December when they're seated, so.
okay, also, how do we want to accept? Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'm jumping questions. Can our finance director handle compiling the budget by themselves? I know you'll be leaving mid-month next month.
David's done it for the last 2 years, I think now, and he does the majority of the work all on his own. He's excellent at this work, so I have no concerns about him handling the budget.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so how do we want to accept candidates for the interim city manager?
Do you get any information about them or you just get their name?
Well, kind of like what Colin was saying, I think if we decide to contract with the Michigan Municipal Executives, we can request to have somebody specific, like if we did want to go with Greg. if he is available, since he is on the list, I'm sure there wouldn't be an issue with getting him appointed here. If he's working somewhere else, they may recommend us to look at other candidates, and then we could possibly request some resumes.
And that's what I would think, I know it's a interim city manager, but, you know, we still want to make sure we get a good candidate to get us through this, transitional period. I can imagine that there's a slight likelihood that that person may want to apply to be the long-term city manager, even though we have a process that we're going through currently. So in considering that, I figured we probably should have some conversation around what we're looking for so that we're all on the same page going forward.
So generally, whoever you put as your interim city manager is somebody that you would not want in consideration for your permanent position because they'd have an unfair advantage over other candidates. So generally, the person that you put in the interim position is someone that you're not considering for the permanent position.
Okay.
And then as well, like I said, I think the list on this, on the pages here from the MMA, these are retired city managers. I don't think they want to get back into it permanently.
I hear that too.
They do it on, they do the consulting just on, you know, when they want to type of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, what timeframes do we need to put in place considering the election and budget season as far as, ensuring that we are staffing that position? I know the election is what, the fourth? Fifth, sorry, Jude. Sorry, Jude. The election being the fifth, and then we'll shortly be turning around, to, chief's departure as well. So looking at that and the new appointment of those seats, or, you know, possibly new appointment of those seats in December, what is that going to look like, that transition, and, you know?
I mean, so one thing I would suggest to council is your first meeting in November is the 4th.
No,
I'm sorry, the 12th. You're right. You is 12th or the 11th?
Or else we love them.
Oh, man, oh man, I'm way off. Okay. Uh,
What's on the 11th?
no, nothing. We meet on the 12th.
Right, but that's a Tuesday.
Yes.
So why aren't we meeting?
Because we're off on the 11th,
We're off.
the holiday, it's a city.
Oh, it's a holiday. Oh, I had no idea. What holiday is it? On Columbus Day.
Disregard, I had a suggestion, but my suggestion doesn't have time to the time in the schedule. I was gonna suggest, you know, if we had the meeting the week before, making the decision at that meeting to give whoever you bring on enough time to contract and enough time to get up to speed with Scott about what's all going on, but you may have to have a special meeting in order to do that, because I don't know.
Well, so upon my departure, David would become the acting city manager for the charter, so he could fill in for a week or two if that were to happen. He does not want to be the interim. I talked to him about that. He was the first person I talked to when I decided to do this. But I think you talked about the budget. I think David's fine with the budget and handling the budget end of that. We've got good people in place in all of the departments except for planning. That's my one concern. We need somebody that has a little bit of planning experience that can handle the planning part of it, because we have nobody to do that if I'm not doing it. And upon my leaving, I'm not going anywhere. I do have a new job, but I'm more than willing to come and assist where I can assist. I'm not just gonna walk out the door and say, never mind, I'm not helping you anymore, you know, kind of thing. So, but obviously I have a job to do, so it has to be, it'll be happy on that, but.
If we can agree to move forward with the MME. At least get that ball rolling after today to move forward with getting in somebody. I think we could have, like, we can have it in place. Maybe we can have, like Ron said, a quick special meeting to get that approved. Something with that.
I was thinking, that we possibly should have a special meeting on Saturday to have a conversation kind of around what we're gonna look for in this candidate. so that we can kind of get that ball rolling a little bit faster, you know what I mean?
Which Saturday?
This upcoming Saturday?
I'm not available the next 2 Saturdays.
I'm not available.
I- It's the biggest fundraising event in our
Can they
history,
send
so.
in like a paragraph about that? And we can pick out maybe 3 or 4 that we want to talk with?
This wasn't online, but I mean, it's just, they're just names.
I mean, I think if you want to go with the MME, they'll give you a short list of people that are willing to do it. I doubt this full list is interested in doing it, and you probably have 2 or 3 people to pick from that are interested. But I think we should contact them first if that's what we want to do, and we can get that information probably tomorrow or Wednesday, I would think.
I mean, and some of them are probably geographically
Mhm.
not feasible. I mean, this list is statewide, so you're gonna have some people that may be in the vicinity of Albion, and some of them may be way out in like Macomb County or up in Saginaw where, you know, and I don't know, they may be willing to relocate, but some of them may just be like, yeah, that's a little too far to commute.
Right, also, and to Andy French's point, I believe maybe if we submit some of your concerns, I'm not sure who all will be able to make this a Saturday to have that discussion, and I know there's a lot going on, especially with the upcoming, election. And, you know, unfortunately, we have a lot on our tables currently. I do think we share in a lot of the same concerns as far as what the interim, the capabilities of the interim city managers will be. And there's also been applications outside of, an application outside of the MME. So that would allow us time to actually be able to hash out some of those concerns as well, so that we're actually giving it a thorough look at, you know, how we're gonna go through this transitional point and getting into, well, at least getting us past the election and our current state.
I would say because time is of the essence that we move forward with the MME and get that vote approved tonight. And if we can get Greg, he would be a candidate that we all know and we've worked with. So if that's, you know, amenable to everybody here, I would suggest moving forward with that, to get that approved tonight to move forward with. Just because time is of the essence.
Any other feedback?
Councilwoman Lawler, you had hand up.
Yeah, so, you said that there might be possible other candidates outside of this list that may have applied. Is that what I heard or no? Okay,
There may possibly be other candidates as well.
so our, if the motion is made to have a study session, will we be able to send out a doodle poll to see when everyone is available? Would that be an option,
In the,
or is there a time frame you think we need to be within?
I would think it need to be sooner than later, but I do understand that there will be people that won't be able to make the meeting.
Councilman
Are
French.
they ever able to share their concerns?
Yeah, but you can't share the vote. Right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So,
Councilman French.
thank you. We all received an application for city manager position. And given what I've heard so far, what we're looking for, given where we are, I think it behooves us to look for someone who has a city manager experience, and everybody on this list has. And the applicant that we've all received by email has no city manager experience. So I would encourage that person to apply for the full city manager position as part of the search for the city manager. That's fine. But given that we need expertise and experience to help us get through these next 3 or 4 months, I think we need to go with experience in hiring our city manager, whether it's interim or otherwise. But that application, it came unsolicited. It's not through a process that we've agreed to. So let it be part of the applicant pool.
Councilman Lawler, you had your hand up?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion.
It's a study session.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Any other, yeah, Colin?
So just because I know this is gonna be a topic of discussion at the regular meeting and maybe this will help with your decision making. I wasn't privy to the email where the individual applicant applied. I was told about it after the fact. The individual that applied is actually not eligible pursuant to the city's charter. The city's charter provides that, and I'm quoting, "A person who holds or has held an elective city office shall not be eligible for appointment to an office or for employment for which compensation is paid until 1 year has elapsed following the term for which they were elected or appointed." So seat precinct 5 was vacated, Councilwoman Davis was appointed, but that term does not expire until November. It's not measured by when someone holds the office, it's measured by the term. So the individual applicant is not eligible to hold employment with the city until December of 25. And I will add that that is not just my opinion. The Michigan Supreme Court has issued an opinion basically on the exact issue, except instead of a city manager appointment, it's a police chief appointment. So
Yeah, it's not.
it's, I mean, it's just, that's how the charter is written. And so it has absolutely nothing to do with the individual's potential credentials or ability to do the job. It's just our charter doesn't allow it.
Understand?
I'm just hoping that, I would like to have more than one to choose from. So if we could get 3 or 4 that MML would think would be good to take a look at.
So, under the current time frame that we have, being that we're not choosing someone this evening, we would have to wait until the following meeting to take that vote anyway, right?
Well, we would vote tonight to contract with MME. To
Okay.
get a potential intro, correct? Colin?
So I think there's some confusion a little bit. These individuals are not employed by MME. Think about them as like independent contractors that are just on a list that MME has.
Right.
So I mean, MME can provide us with background info on them and credentials and all that stuff. But any agreement that we entered into is going to be with the individual candidate.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
so we don't have to choose nobody.
so the vote to approve tonight would be as of what? Or are we approving anything?
Well, so here's what my suggestion would be. If you're interested in working with somebody off of this list, is maybe ask MME to send you the information. I mean, you vote to say, hey, we're gonna pick the following 4 names off the list and ask MME for their information. And then you either have a special meeting or at your next meeting, you decide, okay, out of these 4 people that we've selected from this list, here's the person we want to work with. And here's our second choice as a backup.
Right, now in time frame, that would be at the following meeting?
I mean, you could, here's what my only suggestion is when you figure out who it is you want to work with. I mean, if it's somebody like Greg or somebody that's got that level of experience, I don't think it's going to take long to get a contract together for them. Because they've been on the interim list for, more than a minute. My only concern is just, and Scott can weigh in on this, is just Scott being able to sit down and say, here's what's going on that you need to step into, before he hands the reins over on the 15th.
Right, and then the meeting being on the 12th, and with us not being able to meet to have any discussion surrounding this before the end. So like even we get the names, we get the backgrounds, we get their information, we go through their applications. We don't have the time to have any conversation with them or set a certain guideline for what we're willing to spend, what the budget's gonna look like for this person and the coverage for that time frame.
You'd have to have a special meeting then between now and your next meeting.
Yeah.
I mean,
To pick the specific candidate.
Yeah.
I appreciate the conversations, but we do have to still leave time for public comment. So we can definitely pick this back up at the regular council meeting. So at this time, if there's anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so at this time. You can give us your name, address, and 3 minutes is yours. Is anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned 6:56 PM. Don't go far, we're back in 4 minutes.
The other person.